Are you paying for other people's bad driving?
That's £52, please.
There's no excuse for that.
You enjoyed the rain?
With the Aviva Drive app, safer drivers could save an average of £170 on our car insurance. Download the app now to see if you could save.
And that's not the truth about what happened.
This programme is sponsored by Patient Claimline, medical negligence specialists.
Steve is in court to claim £950 from his former landlady for belongings which were damaged or thrown away after the property he was renting flooded. Defendant Intisar says as the flood damage was caused by Steve's negligence, she owes nothing. She is counterclaiming £3,570 for loss of rent and various other expenses she has incurred.
We then moved to January 2012, and you did, in fact, on this occasion, receive a phone call from Steve, correct? And in that phone call, he told you that there was a leak and a blocked sink. What happened next is very important, Steve. Prior to leaving to go and see your friend, and after you'd taken on this flat, did you have any cause to change the locks on this flat?
Once.
Who, apart from you, had the key to that? Thank you. This lady was never given a key.
No.
It's a mistake, which may have legal implications. You say you went round to the property and you say you couldn't get in because he changed the locks.
I went to the management company who they are responsible for the property, and the guy upstairs, he lived upstairs, he come down, he couldn't get in, so he said the lock has been changed. So I said, okay, we phone Steve, can bring a key for his key, so we can. We never saw that key.
She didn't turn up at the appointed time, and so I said, what I do, outside the front door, there's a meter cupboard, and I'll leave the key up in there for her.
He said that, we went there, me and the two neighbours. I can't reach, I'm quite small and the box is high. I said, could you please, they said, no key here. So we ended with no key. We had to get locksmith to open the door, and we saw the sink was full with oil. And that's flat.
You broke into it by breaking the lock.
After a long time, I waited 4 times. I took a plumber 4 times.
What did you see when you walked into the flat?
The sink was full with water, big stinky water, very long time, it's been there. And so the plumber came and he tried to thread he said there's a lot of oil, dry oil, animal fat, stuck in that. And he said, it's, of course, Steve is not being looked after the sink very well. The sink was nothing clean. But of course, the oil, if you fry animal fat, you put it in the sink, it will block it. That's what it is.
You've now got a report from Environmental Health which you had an opportunity to hear about. Was there ever any heating in that property?
Well, the whole building has got electric
ever any heating in the property?
Radiators, they use radiators, all of them. Heaters, air and radiators. I didn't buy it I bought it as it is, I bought the whole building. It's 100 flats like this. I'm not the one who can decide for everybody, It's a management company who decide what they're going to do with the building.
Whose responsibility is it in law to ensure?
Yeah, but they're managing it, so I can't really control them.
Now, you say Steve had done a run and I couldn't get hold of him.
Yes.
You say something different. You say you had a conversation, in fact, with his son. What do you say she said?
She said to me, you've lived on the streets before, surely you can get a sleeping bag and do it again. And that were her words, Judge.
Did you speak to Steve and say something similar to that?
No, never.
You assumed he wasn't living there, right?
Yes, he wasn't.
What was there?
Well, clothes, books, whatever there. The neighbors, they put them, the 4 men, they put them in bags, in plastic bags, big abandoned bags, and I asked them to keep them in their house when Steve come back.
Excellent. You said, I won't keep them, you take them and look after them. Yes?
Because they are neighbors, so I'm going to go back to my son. Where am I going to keep them? Take them to Mason with me?
Is it your neighbour's responsibility, madam, or yours to keep them?
Not my neighbour, it's his neighbour.
Do you recognise those pictures, by the way?
Can I ask something about these pictures?
Just pause. Do you think that that is an acceptable standard for somebody to live in?
Well, he was living there before I got to flat. It's not my. I didn't do this to the flat. The flat was there, and he was living there with his friends there, like that. Why did he live in it anyway in the first place? Why don't you show the picture after the decoration?
Just to be clear,
You got any pictures after the decoration?
you're saying that this is not the damage that took place after the leak.
How do we know? Is there any date on it?
I'll help you, madam. I have an independent report which corroborates each and every one of the things he says.
Yeah.
Let me just turn very quickly to your counterclaim. You are claiming £2,100, which you say is £350 was the rent that was being paid on your behalf, which is 6 months in lost rent and profit as the flat was unrentable. Is that right? £600, that's 6 months of £100 council tax that you had to pay whilst the flat was being sorted out. £320, that's 4 visits by a plumber as Steve had changed the locks. £400 for redecoration fees to get the flat back up to scratch. Now, I've seen that flat, and by your standard, you say that it would take £400 to make that flat habitable again. Yes?
Maybe more.
Maybe more. £40 for petrol costs. It took me an hour to drive from my home to the bedsit. 40 hours. 10 times.
I went, it's about 50, 60 miles.
So you're claiming the petrol cost. Is that right?
Well, to go and see, to meet the guy, to see the problem, because he phoned me complaining about the flood and the water. I keep going to see what's going on, and he's not there.
£10, this is for phone credit for sorting out calls to the council.
20 times I phoned him.
How do I know it was £10?
The council and the management company.
So you say that roughly cost £10 in mobile phone calls?
More than that, but I just said, look, the lowest, price.
The lowest. £100, you say, for loss of earnings.
I'm self-employed, not national health.
Did you ever work for the NHS?
Yes.
What were the loss of earnings? What would you have earned? You say that the total time it took would be worth £100. How much were you making an hour at that time?
More than that. I just put the lowest, much more. Should be much more.
There's been a lot of evidence in this case. Steve, you bring a case against Intersar, who at the time had legal responsibility to you, and those legal responsibilities were extensive. Amongst other things, she had a duty to heat the place and ensure that it was habitable. Whatever the circumstances and whoever's responsibility she claims it was, ultimately the buck stopped with her. In terms of your claim for the value of property that was taken and held by neighbours, which was Intersar's legal responsibility,